Hello and welcome dear students. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that's party system in India and America. First, objectives. To understand what is party system and how it is significant to political system. To analyze briefly the nature of party system in India, to examine the changing nature of party system in America, to make a comparative analysis of party system in India and America. Dear students, let us first discuss party system in India. Political parties and the party system in India have been greatly influenced by cultural diversity, social, ethnic, caste, community and religious pluralism, traditions of the nationalist movement, contrasting style of party leadership and clashing ideological perspectives. The two main categories of political parties in India are national and state and are so recognized by the Election Commission of India on the basis of laid down criteria as specified in the Constitution. National parties are all India parties. They drew support from different segments of society and put up their candidates for parliamentary elections across state lines. The Communist Party of India, Marxist, the Bharatiya Janata Party, Bahujan Samaj Party and Indian National Congress were major recognized national parties at the eve of 2004 and 2009 general elections. The list of recognized parties is revised after every general election, taking into account the number of votes polled by them. Presently, there are 7 national political parties in India, which are Indian National Congress, Communist Party of India, Communist Party of India Marxist, Bharatiya Janata Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, Nationalist Congress Party, and finally, All India Trinamool Congress. The most important political parties operating at state level are the Dravida Mantra Kazhagam, AIDMK, Telugu Desam, Assam Ganga Parishad, Akali Dal, Samajwadi Party, Trinamool Congress, Shiv Sena and National Conference. Some of these are of great significance in their localities and can give the national parties stiff competition in these areas. They usually are built around a few leading personalities and emphasizing communal, caste or sectional interests and loyalties. Drawing its lineage from the pre-independence times, the Indian party system attained a definite shape with the inauguration of the parliamentary democracy in the country within the framework of the Constitution of India. Ideologically, even before India gained independence, the party system of the country was marked by the presence of the Congress as the umbrella organization representing, though predominantly the upper and middle classes, yet having widespread support of the masses as well, somewhat monopolistically the mainstream of the Indian populace by accommodating as varied interests as that of capitalists like G.D. Birla, alongside the interests of the other marginalized and underprivileged sections of the society, primarily in the name of waging the national struggle to win freedom for the country. The only other political formation rivaling with the Congress in claiming the support of the people on diverse issues, distinct from the independence of the country, was that of the communists, who, decrying the intimacy of the Congress with the cause of the bourgeois classes, stayed away from the umbrella organization to provide a feeble alternative to the Congress. However, due to some reasons, the communist alternative could not entice the masses away from the Congress even after independence, and under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Congress became the epicenter of the party system in the country. It was able to monopolize the electoral gains in the first 3 general elections prompting the scholars to call the phase as the phase of the Congress system. However, after the demise of Nehru, it began to lose its grip over the pulse of the electorate, resulting into a huge decline in the fortunes of the Congress party, so much so that it not only lost power in several states, but also its majority in parliament was reduced to just marginal. The legacy of the monolith Indian National Congress somewhat disappeared with the split in the party in 1969, leading to the formation of two factions. One is the Congress O and another is the Congress I. With the split in the Congress, the days of the monopolization of power by the party was more or less over, as many more contenders for power emerged on the scene, leading to a fresh wave of churning in the Indian party system, which remains inconclusive even till date. Nevertheless, as India's social and regional diversities gradually got more and more articulated over the decades of electoral political mobilization, the one-party Congress dominance gradually and reversibly yielded way to a multi-party system in the late 1960s and late 1970s, and irreversibly by the end of the 1980s. The Indian party system has changed dramatically since 1989. A multi-party system has emerged following the decline of Congress and growth of state parties. Taken together, the 42 officially recognized state parties have significant weight in Indian politics then. Some are regional powerhouses and control state governments. This deepening of the trend towards regionalized multi-party system with federal minority coalition governments followed in succession during the 1990s until 2014. However, a great shift occurred in Indian party system when BJP got full majority in 2014 elections. The rise of the BJP to the status of the majority party in the 2014 general elections for the first time after a long period of 30 years since 1984, and its re-election in 2019 with a larger majority led on both the occasions by Narendra Modi. Despite its formidable national majority, the Hindu right BJP has continued the tradition of federal coalition governments under the NDA with a greater predominance of the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi within it than what was the case before 2014. Early on, following its victory in Uttar Pradesh assembly elections and recently in 3 states of northeastern states, scholars like Suhas Palshikar had suggested that this was the beginning of a second dominant party system. Notwithstanding its losses in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, its second consecutive victory in parliamentary elections of 2019 with better performance than in 2014 should alert any casual observer of Indian politics to the electoral dominance the party is likely to exercise in coming years. But does it also indicate something more than mere electoral success? Even before the BJP's 2019 victory, Suhas Palshikar had further argued that BJP was in process of shaping a new political culture and craft a new hegemony. Indeed, the BJP leadership itself does mention the emergence of New India, though it has not systematically explained its ingredients, but the regime inaugurated in 2014 has been bringing to the forefront characteristics that were not so prominent earlier. And as a result, the Modi regime has certainly indicated that India's politics will have substantially altered character in the near future. Dear students, now we will discuss the nature of party competition since 2014 and important questions. The first and most primary question is, has the nature of party political competition changed? Since the late 1980s, India entered into an era of multi-party coalitions. These coalitions were also characterized by a critical role played by state parties and made the larger parties such as Congress, initially Janata Dal and subsequently BJP, dependent on their ability to accommodate the smaller and state parties. In 2014, this abruptly came to an end. Scholars have pointed out the continued potential of state parties. Nevertheless, the BJP has systematically reduced its dependence on state parties, while state parties like BJD, TRS, Telugu Desam Party, and even the Bahujan Samaj Party have mostly confined themselves at state level and to politics of survival. In many states, instead of large statewide parties, smaller, localized or single caste parties are becoming critical and effectively hurting the statewide parties, thus making room for the BJP. Congress may look upon itself as the chief all India opposition, but it is increasingly becoming only a multi-state party rather than all India in reach and effect, and is also losing its capacity to bring together many other parties on a common non-BJP platform. So, besides BJP's second consecutive victory, and despite limitations on that victory, as pointed out by Ziegfeld, the dominance of the BJP in electoral terms seems rather undeniable. The two clean majorities of the BJP, besides its entry into new territories like Haryana, Assam or Maharashtra, a monolithic hold over UP and its rise both in Bihar and Odisha, along with a big push in West Bengal, all point to an electoral dominance that India's politics had almost forgotten in past 25 years. Moreover, the failure of the United Progressive Alliance to keep allies and to further expand a non-BJP front is as much a function of BJP's increasing dominance as it is a result of political incapacities of the opposition parties. Dear students, now we will discuss US party system. In the parliamentary as well as presidential form of government, there is special significance of the political parties. According to McLeaver, without parties, neither unity-based administration is possible, nor can there be systematic development of policy. As in Britain, America also has two major parties which have dominated the political arena since the formation of American Federation. The American political parties developed out of extra constitutional growth. In fact, the framers of the American Constitution wanted to avoid the emergence of any political party. In order to avoid political parties, they made the election of president indirect. However, the political parties emerged very shortly. They were not recognized by any law. In 1907, they were legally recognized. The American political parties have no clear difference of ideologies. They are not as disciplined as the British political parties. Now, we will discuss the growth of political parties in America. American electoral politics has been largely dominated by two major political parties, Democratic Party and the Republican Party, since the founding of the Republic of the United States of America. These two political parties have both evolved in terms of ideologies, positions, and support bases over their long lifespans in response to social, cultural, and economic developments. The Democratic Party being the left of center party since the time of the New Deal, and the Republican Party now being the right of the center. The American party system is usually a nearly pure two-party system where two major parties are highly competitive with one another and taken together win almost all the votes and offices in elections. These parties are of comparable size, competing for electoral support, providing framework for political competition. The other parties exert little, if any, influence on the formation and policies of government. The framers of the American Constitution have written nothing in regard to political parties. In the convention which was conveyed to draft the Constitution, there were two groups of delegates. One group wanted a strong union, while the other group demanded more autonomy to states. The group which demanded more powers to the center were called Federalists. The group which demanded more powers to the states were called Anti-Federalists. George Washington, the first President of America, was a staunch opponent of political parties. However, he had to choose members from both the groups to his cabinet. In 1800 AD, Thomas Jefferson became the president. He was anti-federalist. He changed the name of his party as Democratic Republican Party. In course of time, this party was divided into two, namely National Republicans and Democrats. In 1841, the question of slavery made clear division of the parties as the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Still, these parties continue to exist with these names. There were some other political parties also in America, but they were not able to become prominent. Even now, there are some other political parties besides the Democrats and the Republicans: the Free Soil Party, the Populists, the Prohibitionists, and the National Progressive Party are some among them. At present, the Communist Party and Socialist Party also exist, but these minor parties play very little role in the national affairs, and the Democratic and the Republican parties dominate the US scene. Thus, the American party system is called a biparty system and can be found both in the nation's political culture and in the legal structures that govern elections. This biparty system has been a constant feature of American history. They have dominated electoral politics since 1860, assisted by the high hurdle that plurality elections set for minor parties. In particular, winning a presidential election is a political mountain which can only be climbered by major parties capable of assembling a broad national coalition. Now we will discuss organization and role of political parties in America. Both the prominent political parties in the America have more or less similar organizations. At the national level, there is a national council consisting of about 1,500 members. It holds session once in 4 years. The national council conducts the organization of the party. It elects its own president. It also elects the candidates for the posts of president and vice president of America. The president of the party is in charge of the election campaign. He establishes contact between the center and state units of the party. The National Council has its own secretariat. The secretariat prepares the speeches of the leaders, collects money for the party, and performs other activities. At the state level, there is a council and other structures at the center. Besides, there are country councils, district councils, city councils, town and village councils. The party system gives more importance to the local interests. In America, the political parties play a very important role. They educate and organize the people. They enable the people to form public opinion. The party system makes the election of the president direct and simple. The two parties in the America have more or less similar ideologies. Hence, as Finner says, America has only one party, Republican cum Democratic, divided into two nearly equal halves by habitus and the contest for office, the Republican being one half and the Democratic being the other half of the party. Dear students, now we will discuss the features of American party system. Since the party system of every country has some special features of its own, the salient characteristics of the American party system may be discussed like this. America is known for having a biparty system. The Democrats and the Republicans are the two major parties, and the power alternates between them. In a strict sense, America may be described as having a multi-party system, as there have been several minor parties, though their value is equal to nothing, as they have never been able to make a tilt in the distribution of power. The American parties lack the essential ingredient of what is meant by the party in other democratic countries of the world. The element of ideology is missing. The two parties differ on issues as they are, not on the lines of ideological commitments. The American parties may be described as federations of specific interests. The absence of the ideological factor has made them like coalitions of interests. Leading American writers admit that no political association can be more motley than their Democratic Party and the Republicans, for all their sterner commitments to principle and respectability are very much less of an army with 100 different banners. Both parties are happily described as a vast enterprise in group diplomacy. The structure of the American political parties is marked by decentralization of authority and consequent enfeebling of discipline to an exaggerated degree. Both parties may be regarded as loose confederacies of state parties, since the locus of power is not there at the center. Each party has its units at the center and below, that is, at the state and local levels, where its units looks like an independent, self-sustaining, sovereign force in the balance of political forces. The American party system not only exhibits the total absence of what is ill-named as bossism, it also shows that both parties speak up candidates for the presidency or important seats in the Senate from among us to those who have never held their membership. That is, each party may go for the rank outsiders in matters of nominations for the top elective posts. Dear students, now we will discuss the American and Indian party system, a comparative analysis. India has multi-party system, while in America two-party system exists. In both the countries, the parties were a result of extra constitutional growth. However, the systems in the two countries differ in many respects. In India, the parties have different and opposing ideologies, but in America, there is no much ideological difference between the two parties. The presence of Supilly system also makes some difference between the two systems. Until recently, thousands of government posts were distributed by the president among his party supporters and workers. The merit system was not adopted in filling up these government posts. In recent years, the merit system has replaced the Supilly system. However, the Supilly system has not been abolished completely. This party patronage enables certain political leaders to become party bosses. In India, there is parliamentary form of government, so the leader of the majority party becomes the prime minister and the leader of the other party becomes opposition leader. But in America, there is a presidential form of government. There is no connection between the president and the Congress. In India, all the ministers belong to the ruling party, but in America, the president appoints his cabinet members from both the parties, though majority of them are from his party. In India, the members of parliament are directed by the party whips to vote this way or that way. The members never act against the party command. Hence, any bill introduced by the ministers is easily passed. In America, the political parties engage in lobbying. The political parties try to persuade the legislatures in the states as well as the members of the Congress to vote for or against a legislative measure. This process of persuasion is called lobbying. Lobbying is not practiced in India. This is not necessary here as well. When the ministers present the bill the ruling party members support them automatically without giving much importance to their personal views. But in presidential form of government, as in America, this is not possible. In India, political parties are active. The ruling party is vigilant on the attempts of the opposition party to discredit the government. The opposition party is active in exposing the failures of the government, but in America, the parties are active only during elections. Thus, there are many differences between the party systems in India and America. To conclude today's lecture, we can say a party system refers to the overall pattern formed by the component parties. The interaction is between them and the rules governing their conduct. Generally speaking, there are three kinds of party system in the world, that is one party system, two party system and multi-party system. There are many countries in the world where there is one party system. Erstwhile Soviet Union and Yugoslavia had single party systems. Similarly, China has one party system. The United Kingdom, the United States of America, Australia and New Zealand have bi-party systems. There may exist other parties, but their role is generally insignificant. For example, in UK, there are two main parties, the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. In the America, the two main parties are the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. India, Japan, France, Germany and Switzerland have multi-party systems. On the basis of ideologies, political parties can be classified as left, right and center. Left parties have reactionary and conservative ideologies, and center parties have liberal ideologies. Indian political system comprises of numerous constitutional and extra-constitutional institutions working under democratic political culture. Political parties and pressure groups are important institutions which work to influence the public policy formulation and implementation according to their ideology and support base. In brief, Indian party system can be characterized and studies under these points. Number one, due to the presence of large number of national and regional parties, Indian party system is characterized as multi-party system. Number two, the functioning of Indian party system displays the dominance of one party initially amongst multitudes of political parties operating in the system. Number third, existence of communal parties and caste-based parties. Importance of regional parties. Almost all the political parties are suffering or have suffered from factionalism, defection and splits in the course of time. In India, the opposition parties have been weak and fragile due to multitudes of political parties and lack of unity among political parties. American electoral politics has been largely dominated by two major parties, Democratic Party and the Republican Party, since the founding of the Republic of the United States of America. These two political parties have both evolved in terms of ideologies, positions and support bases over their long lifespans in response to social, cultural and economic developments. The Democratic Party being the left of center party since the time of New Deal, and the Republican Party now being the right of center party. The structure of American political parties is marked by decentralization of authority and consequent enfeebling of discipline to an exaggerated degree. Both parties may be regarded as loose confederacies of state parties since the locus of power is not there at the center. With this, we have ended today's lecture. Hope you have enjoyed it very well. Thank you very much.